Hey everybody, Mike Abgeldar, President of the Fiscal Challenge. I wanted to provide you with a few tips for crafting a presentation for the competition. And so as you know by now, there's 4 key elements for the judging rubric, one of which is the presentation. I wanted to give you a few highlights of successful approaches for the presentation that I've seen from past competitors. 3 things. 1, avoid information overload. 2, set the stage. And 3, practice. Okay? So I'll go through them really quickly. Avoid information overload. This is a rule of thumb that I've seen in other settings beyond our competition, but 3 key ideas. You're going to have your audience's attention for a limited amount of time. More than 3 key ideas is going to be difficult for them to take away. Now that doesn't mean that you have to relax your standards on research or that you should not include details. No. But we can group them, right? We're going to focus on major budget areas. Defense, healthcare, and the like. Or maybe it's thematic, climate, and social, or whatever those areas might be. Okay? Those are the key ideas. And then you'll have all the details to support that. It might be too much to include all in the main body of the presentation deck. So what you could do to support those main ideas is utilize an appendix. Very helpful during Q&A as well. One of the other elements of the judging rubric is creativity. And for that, I want to talk about what I call an intellectual alpha, by which I mean something that's different, that's going to set you apart from your competitors. Now, one way that you could do that would be to develop a brand new idea for solving this debt problem. That might be daunting. Another way is to find something that's been proposed but overlooked. Another way I've seen in the past is just using an existing idea in a creative way, combining 2 policies in a creative way. Something that's going to make them stand out and recognize your intellectual alpha. Okay? So avoid information overload. Second piece, set the stage. You might have heard this old adage before. Tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them what you just told them. It works for all sorts of presentations, including for our competition. One way to facilitate that, have an agenda, table of contents right up at the beginning. Tell them, these are the 3 main ideas we're going to talk about. Here's how we're going to talk about them. You work on that first one, you give them those details, bring that agenda slide back up and indicate that you are transitioning to item number 2. Go through all the details, bring that agenda slide back up, indicate that you're transitioning to item number 3. When you're done, bring the agenda slide back up again and tell them what you just told them. Along the way, very successful teams have used an attribution analysis. How much does each proposal add to debt to GDP? Subtract from debt to GDP, get closer to my goal. It's a visual device, but very helpful for conveying the accumulated effects of all these different individual proposals. All right, so that's the second one. Last one I want to talk about is practice. You'll spend a lot of time putting together your research, your proposals, even your slide deck, and then maybe you wait until the last minute to actually do the recording. The slide deck is not the presentation. There's lots of elements to the presentation, including teamwork, including how well you can provide the discourse, how well you can deliver your ideas. So waiting until the last minute is not a wise strategy for that. I suggest that you practice quite a bit on not just the presentation itself and saying the words, but transitioning from slide to slide, transitioning from team member to team member. Also, what I really like doing is trying to get a fresh set of eyes and ears. Maybe it's a faculty member, maybe it's a classmate who has not heard your research before, who has not been involved. They give a fresh perspective in the same way, mimicking the way the judges would be hearing your ideas for the first time. Okay, so avoid information overload, set the stage, and practice. I hope that helps. Good luck in the Fiscal Challenge.